So first,
Absolutely.
and I was
Let's dig it all up.
oh, no.
True.
You'll never guess.
So sidebar. Yes.
And also, I feel like I shouldn't have to remember everything.
I know.
Actually, I have to talk about this.
3, 2, 1.
Hi, everyone.
Hey.
I'm Alicia.
And I'm Meredith.
And this is Also Podcast, One Season Wonders, Kid Nation Edition. And we are at the season finale. And man, was it a season for the books.
Well, it ended here. So this is the last stop on this train.
It was incredible, to say the least. And I am so excited to talk about it. Meredith, I have spent tens of hours looking up this show. And I'm so excited to share with you everything that I've learned.
I can't wait to get the breakdown, and I can't wait for everybody else to get the breakdown too.
Amazing. So before we go into it, if you want to watch Kid Nation, the link is in our description. Also, find a link to our TikTok and Instagram. We post fun videos. And then there's also our Patreon link. Tons of links. Go check them all out.
Lots happening.
Okay, Meredith, I didn't take any notes because I was fascinated. I was glued. Glued.
All right, well, I've got them. So,
yes.
Previously on Kid Nation, for 37 days, the kids have struggled against the odds to build a world of their own. And along the way, they've been led by 3 different town councils, each faced with tough decisions, from resisting temptation to handing down different punishments.
Down with town council.
Well, even though they were down, they all rose to the occasion and accepted the responsibility and a lot of criticism, which well-deserved.
From me. It's all from me.
They had unique skills, with Zach inspiring people, Anjay showing wisdom, Laurel being a caretaker, Michael the peacemaker, Mike, Gylan, Taylor, DK, Blaine, and Greg showed skills beyond their years, which I thought it was so funny they couldn't come up with specific skills for those kids.
Skills beyond their years. Like?
There were also other leaders who weren't elected but emerged, like Sophia. We also saw Morgan fighting factions together. Nathan and Hunter never stopped working. Still to this day, I swear to God, they are in New Mexico working their asses off. We also had Alex and Jared, our thinkers of the group. And overall, 12 people won gold stars worth $20,000. There was some fighting and tears, but a lot of growth as 40 kids came together to do the impossible. And along the way, they became a family.
It was so cute.
There are only 3 days left. 1 gold star remains. Who will get it? Is every kid in Bonanza City ready for the last few incredible surprises?
I know I wasn't.
I was not. I don't remember this episode, so this was kind of new for me too.
This episode made me so like I felt like I was losing my friends. You know what I mean? I felt 12 watching this. Yes. So then I felt like I was losing my friends.
It's also funny to be, as we've said throughout this entire series, like we were their ages when this initially aired, but to be the basically like 15 years in the future. Yeah. Knowing we have social media and that they could reconnect, but also understanding being that age and not knowing if you could connect. Like I felt like I was leaving camp. Yeah. Being like, maybe I'll see you next year at camp. But these kids didn't have that opportunity. They weren't coming back.
No. And like you said, like though we had some technology, like instant message and email really wasn't a thing.
No. But knowing now today, they could be connected if they wanted.
Yeah, which is they are, because I stalked all their Instagrams, which is so lovely. I don't know. There was just something so like nice and pure. And like, I'm glad that in some weird ways they like have stayed connected over the years of like stalking on. Because I stalked all these people on Instagram if I could find them. And I loved when I saw if they followed each other. Mostly, I'll give it up to Laurel. She really, her Instagram's a hub for anyone on Kid Nation.
That's great.
You get a hold of it, yeah.
Well, let's get to these last 3 days. It is.
Oh, wait. Sorry. I just want to interrupt. Just so to have perspective, I did the math. We would have been 13 on this show. We would have been the older middle crew. Kid. Yeah, we would have been like
Team Green really would have resonated with us.
We would have done like Team Green or Team Red. Those would have been ours. So yeah, 13. Definitely.
Well, it is day 38 and Mike cannot sleep. So he's walking through town and he's reflecting on how they have 3 days left. It's like really kind of cute. He has his little alone time. And he's like, man, we may never see each other again, which I felt this deeply. But as he's walking through town, he sees the job board is literally up in flames.
Hilarious. He stops for a second too and he's like, everyone wake up! Everyone wake up!
That
the
like
job
pure
board's on
shock.
fire.
Yeah, he sees it, run towards it, and is just like staring at it. And then runs into all the bunks, tries to wake everybody up. A bunch of the kids run towards the job board and they start doing like, a firefighter system. They're trying to
blowing it out.
They're getting some buckets. They're like trying to like throw the water on this, but it's which was
hilarious because what in this desert would cause that thing to go up in flames? If not a
30
human,
producers behind the scenes.
Yeah, a human that lit the match.
That producer, that's so funny because I always wonder like, oh, they have to wake up the town council, I'm sure, because they wake up way earlier. But so somebody went in and was like, hey, Mike, you should go for a stroll. Like 20 minutes after they lit the board on fire.
Mike, we want to do some like one-on-one with you because you're a star. And he starts walking and he's like, a fire. And the producers are saying they're going like, yeah.
They're like, what are you going to do about it?
It was a controlled fire, clearly. But I loved them being like, get some water. And Jared has like a tin cup and he's like, every little bit helps.
When the whole thing is already burning. Like, none of it is saved, which actually made me sad. If I was one of those kids, I would want to keep my little nameplate and everything. Like, that's a memento.
I don't know. I loved the pure panic. Also, doesn't sand put out fire if they just knocked it over? Could have helped.
Okay. I mean, I don't think we needed the kids to actually be playing with the fire, though.
Yeah. But they all stand there then and watch it.
Yeah, well, they did decide to give up. They're like, all right, when they started, the whole thing was in flames already. So it was
covered in gasoline.
It was never
There's no way to put it out.
No. So they do finally give up and they're all staring at it. And job board starts to crumble. And I actually got kind of nervous because this could have fallen over on these children. I mean, a lot of these kids are already
children are dumb, but they're not that dumb.
But they kind of realize with no more job board means no more jobs, and with no more jobs mean no more classes. And what are we going to do for a showdown? What's going to happen to this whole town? There's no organization anymore.
Yep.
The little organization and direction these kids had is now gone.
It's gone. And where's Jonathan?
Well, he's ringing the bell and he gathers the town together and he's like, hey, this fire was no accident. Jobs are done. We're done here. Also, this little journal your town council read, we're done with that too. And Mallory pipes in and is like, burn it!
The fuck, Mallory? All right.
And Mr. Bonanza ready just to improv. He's like, you want me to burn it? All right.
That's crazy. That's this town's history.
You know what? This is why this didn't get a second season. We had no journal to direct us.
There was no idea what happened in this city.
I mean, what are we supposed to do now? We literally have nothing.
How are they supposed to know how to organize religion?
Yeah, how do we know what the problems are that we are supposed to fix? The journal pointed out problems. We had to resolve them.
Yeah, all right. What a wait. I would have been like, wait, can I have it? I love a free thing. If it's free, I want it. Can I have it?
And Jonathan also tells them that they don't have to work if they don't want to. They can kind of just do whatever they want. So peace out, good luck.
Yep. And we loot this town.
Yeah, it's immediately chaos. The kids run into the stores and start just taking everything that they can get because, I mean, it makes sense. There's no more jobs to get money. Nobody's working these jobs, so there's no order at all. And to be honest, there's no self-control over candy. I would feel the same way. If there was just a store full of candy and people were like, nobody's going to work it, there's no money exchange, I would take whatever I could freaking get.
Someone had a fucking wagon and was like, I'm bringing it back to my place.
Oh my God.
We were grabbing sodas. We were taking anything in the dry goods store.
The wagons I was like, all right, this is a bit extreme. I understand that this candy's perishable. Let's get after it and eat some. But they were going ham. And some kids were dumping some of it on the ground. I was like, that is unnecessary.
We were drinking everything. We're eating everything.
Blaine running with the entire container of sodas was so funny.
Yo, this would have been so fun if we were kids.
Yeah.
Just like go loose in a candy store.
I wish they would have like had fun with it though and just like brought it all to the saloon and like had a party. This was more like I got to take it so other people don't get it before
we were looting. Yeah,
yes.
Like it was chaos. And let me tell you, these older kids with self-control, such buzzkills, these kids. They're like, how could you do this to our stupid little city?
I think when people started throwing things on the ground, that's when I would have been like, all right, we're getting a little out of control.
You're wasting the candy, assholes.
That would have pissed me off. That's too
What
far.
the fuck? Yeah.
My God. My favorite was one of the girls was like, we've been pioneer adults for too long. It's time to be kids again.
It's time to be a kid again. Rock out, girl. Yeah, you've been cleaning too many toilets.
Seriously.
Eat that candy right off that ground.
I hope you enjoy your stomach ache.
Live it up. We are literally, they are kids without adults. And when we were kids, remember like the Jimmy Neutron movie when all the adults disappeared and they were like, let's fucking go nuts?
Yeah.
They never got that chance. These like little kids in this kid nation never got the chance to like be crazy. So I was like pro this. I was
the best is that night that they had that party at the saloon. That's the closest they got, but they were still cosplaying as adults because they were like ripping shots and
they were doing Irish car bombs. Which but they needed a moment because when we were kids and it was like if our parents left.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we would have a ball. Think of Kevin McAllister in Home Alone. He had a moment where he was eating ice cream for breakfast and jumping on the bed. Like these kids needed this. It made me so mad when the 14-year-olds were like, not on the ground. And I was like, for once on the ground. Let us be on the ground.
Yeah, DK is one of those kids that is really upset. I think he just holds, it's weird that he holds such a high, like, moral bar. But then we just saw him, like, 3 days ago, like, screaming at people in the town. So, like, he
catcalling.
Definitely picks and chooses when he has
catcalling girls. Yeah.
Yeah. Zach is also pretty upset, but I think Zach's just, like, a very sentimental kid. So I think he's sad that, like, the town is, like, falling apart.
He never got to take pictures with his digital camera to take home.
Yeah. And he also
says
that
like,
up.
But yeah,
stealing is so wrong. And I kind of get that like, wow, like what has it come to moment? Zach's like just sitting there in shock.
I'm not even going to sit here. The kid I loved to follow rules. I too probably would have been like, we shouldn't steal.
As you're like eating candy a little bit out of the jar.
Yeah. But another part of me, if all my friends are doing it, I love a group activity. I'm in.
Here's the thing. I would hope that one of my girls in the bunk would have grabbed one of those wagons, filled it up early, brought it to our bunk, and I would enjoy what they secured.
Yeah, I'm just an accomplice in stealing the candy.
Again, this candy's gonna go bad.
But Zach, I felt bad for. He's like crying and he's like, I thought we were better than this. I was like, nah, dude. The sugar rush? Oh, it's too good. It's too good.
Well, Zach and DK want to talk to people at dinner. So we go to dinner and Sophia still is keeping this town together by cooking dinner, and it's shitty pasta, and she's like, hey, but it's how we started, so it's how we're ending, you know? We're having like terrible pasta. That's just mush.
It's the soupiest pasta I've ever seen, and not from sauce. Those are the noodles I'm talking about are so soupy looking.
Oh, they're like all congealed together.
Oh my God, I wanted to
It's basically mashed potatoes.
These kids, if they weren't shitting their pants on this show...
No, they're probably all so backed up. All they've been eating is pasta and like biscuits all 40 days.
When they go home, oh man, prayers for you guys.
Yeah, holy remember how excited they got at the vegetables? No kid liked vegetables, but they were like, I'm so tired of eating this crap food. I need a real
our
real
food
thing in my body.
All the food's brown. Just give me color. Even if it is candy.
Oh my God. Well, the town council gets up and Michael says that they need to work tomorrow and clean up the town and right their wrongs from today. Like the town is a disaster. Yeah.
We will. The whole town agreed. Just give us a little fun. Absolutely. You have fun and then you clean up after. Yeah,
there's definitely a layer of shame over this town now because they did take a little too far. Again, they destroyed the whole town.
No, I was pro this.
And a lot of them feel bad for rioting so hard. But hey, we need to learn the hard way. And I agree. At least you learned a lesson.
We'll clean it up.
Yeah.
You just want to have some fun. Sorry.
We just wanted to reap the benefits of not having to take our entire 10 cents earning as laborers and decide what to do with it.
Yeah, because that rioting would have been less fun if I was 14. It would have been most fun at like 10.
The yellow kids were thrilled.
Oh man, 10 years old, my dream. By 14, I'm too cool to do this.
Taylor's like, you can't take this away from me. It's not a reward. She's stealing grabbing everything.
Candy left and right. This is mine! Yeah, she's the best.
Oh my God. Well, we wake up the next day. It's day 39 and some kids start cleaning up the town. I think basically everybody cleans up, but we really see the kids who we know the most, the Michaels, the Migles, everybody. And
the Migles, 2 episodes ago, I had no idea she existed. So yeah.
They definitely all realized yesterday, went too far like they thought last night. And they do really work together to kind of get everything back in order. They sweep the whole town and they're picking up kind of everything that's been strewn about. And Mr. Bonanza gathers all of the kids and he talks to them about how normally like this would be the time for our showdown. Like we'd be competing for our jobs and our rewards, but that's done. We know the job board is up in flames, but there is still a reward we have, and we're going to give out the last gold star, which who would get the last one? The council has to decide.
There weren't many kids. I was like Zach or Pharaoh.
I think we have
maybe Anjay.
37 kids left. 12 have already gotten a star, so that's 15.
Yeah.
And I think 2 present council members, or maybe have all the council members gotten one? Blaine and Greg
all the present ones.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So then it's just 15 other kids left. And let's be honest, there has to be a decent amount of slackers in that group.
Yeah. Like you're not going to give it to Taylor. Goodbye. You're not going to give it to her minions. That's -3.
Like Emily's not getting it.
Emily's not getting it. That dude Colton that threatened violence against Emily's not getting it. Like,
Yeah. There's probably like a group of 5 who's up for it.
I was like, it's either going to be Anjay, Zach, or Pharaoh. Because we saw Pharaoh a little bit too.
Yeah. So the council goes for a walk and they talk about how, like some kids say like, oh, Mike should get it. Laurel thinks Sophia should get a second, which I was like, no, that is not fair. Nobody deserves a second star.
Boo, yeah.
Unless nobody did anything. And just Sophia worked this town, basically.
Yeah, no. I was like, no thanks.
Yeah. And the council decides they really want to give it to someone who represents Bonanza City, which I think that's a good way to go out. One last time.
Yeah.
Let's give it. So they come back and they decide to give it to Zach,
who would never loot a day in his life. Stealing, what have we come to?
I mean, last episode we saw him like crying over nominating himself, and he takes it so serious that I think he's a really good pick for this last one.
Is this where Greg was like, I could see Zach in some sort of law?
I think so.
I was cracking up though, because he is. We looked Zach up and he got his degree. I don't know if he's a lawyer, but he got his degree in
He definitely is law. In legislature, like politics, definitely like, or at least adjacent. But Zach is really overwhelmed with gratitude. He's pretty speechless. He's such an emotional guy, and it's so cute. I hope he did not ever change. Like I hope people didn't like bully him for this and like stop him from being.
He is the loveliest kid. Like just such a nice dude. Yeah.
He really did like Greg says he dedicated himself to the full 40 days of this experience, and he did.
Yeah, I love that.
Well,
go Greg or go Zach. What's his name? Is Zach?
Yes, our winner Zach. We are back in town, and Taylor and the minions bring their chickens into their bunk.
Oh my God, I hate them.
These girls are ready to take these chickens home.
We should kill them and eat them.
Hey, another feast? I mean, we have a whole extra dinner and a whole extra day to go through.
Why weren't we eating chicken when we were eating soupy noodles? Could have made chicken noodle soup. Didn't even have to add broth or water.
Honestly.
The noodles did it itself.
Very true. Very true. So the chickens are running around the bunk, and Emily, who used to be on blue, now on red, walks in, and she asks if she can join the minions and sleep in their bunk tonight because, class systems and districts technically aren't in existence anymore.
Yeah.
And Kelsey takes Emily outside and basically is like, hey, girlie, no, you cannot sleep with us. We want to spend our last night as the yellow girls. What do you think about this?
Yo, that's some bullshit. You just don't like Emily.
I can't decide. Like, I understand you've spent the last 40 days with your district. So I do understand, like, wanting to have that last night together.
Yeah, but you've already spent 40 days with your district.
But I don't see why adding Emily would be that big of a disruption.
They don't like Emily. So they don't want to hang out with her.
They tolerate her.
Also, the only reason a group is cool is they leave people out.
Yeah.
It's like the exclusivity of it. Like, that's what they want. They want to be a clique, and Emily wants to be in it. And Emily, A, hasn't been a part of the clique from the beginning, but B, she seems unlikable.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the yellow team is like, nah.
It's so sad. So Emily
is
upset.
sad because we've all been there. We've all been the girl that's not allowed at the sleepover, is uninvited or whatever. Yeah. So I felt, but I also know what it's like to like not like someone to hang out with them, and I feel mean when I do that, which is accurate. I'm being mean.
Yes, and Kelsey is like screaming it in her face. I'm calm.
Trying to talk to you really calmly because Emily's mad. Emily like walks away. And Kelsey like chases after her and starts yelling at her that she's calm.
This whole instance, they so Kelsey is the one who delivers the news, and then somehow the other girls do get involved.
Emily marches to that saloon and looks Taylor and Layla in the face, the really blonde girl, like you could see through her blonde. Emily looks at her and is like, you guys don't want me in the bunk. And Taylor's kind of like, what do I do? But Layla was like, we just don't want you around. And I was like, there it is. I knew it. Because what's adding one more? If you're really friends with someone, come on over. Come on in.
That's the thing. I understand if like the whole town was spending the last night together in like the town hall and like sleeping together. Yeah. And those girls were like, no, we want to stay in yellow bunk together. Like they're excluding themselves from a shared event. Yeah. I get that. But yeah, what is adding one more sleeping bag?
Yeah, it shouldn't matter the color of our district.
It's like a her thing. Like you just don't want to be around her.
Yeah, I'm sure if like Migle was like, yo, can I sleep with you? They'd be like, yeah. It's Emily. They don't like Emily. And then it turns into like a brawl?
It's like a screaming, pushing match and like some.
Listen, I felt Emily. Involved. She said, don't touch me. And minion number 1 that plays the piano kept touching her.
Yes. Well, Emily like always tries to walk away, it seems, but they just want to constantly keep telling Emily that she's not allowed to be in their bunk. So they won't let her leave the situation. And then Taylor even like makes a move. She's making fake. She's taunting her.
No, Taylor took a step.
No, that's what I'm saying. Taylor is taunting Emily.
Yeah, you're not going to take a step towards me and think I'm not going to throw hands.
But Emily gets all the blame for it. Like Migle gets involved. And at first I understand like Migle doesn't know what's happening. So she like separates the girls and is trying to like talk to Emily. But because Migle's back is to Taylor, she doesn't see the taunting. I know. So then when Emily steps back at Taylor, it looks like Emily's starting it. And I'm like,
yeah, ain't no way you're taking a step towards me. I'm not taking a step right back with my fist.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah. And you're not going to tell me Emily's not going to beat the shit out of Taylor.
Oh, absolutely. She has a size advantage.
But she's also pissed. Dude, true. She's mad because she's left out.
And Taylor, let's be honest, is definitely like a bigger bark than bite.
Yeah, she's terrible. She's not going to do shit.
She can't do shit. Yeah.
Notice how she always stands her ground and then she ends up caving because she wants the reward. She's not going to do shit.
Yeah. Absolutely.
She's 10. So, but yeah, Migle.
As Migle's trying to sort this out, she says like, hey, let the yellow girls do whatever they're going to do. They want a night alone, which like isn't the right decision. But at a certain point, shit's just got to be settled.
She could have gone either way. She also could have looked at the yellow team and said, what's one more?
Correct. But what I do like when Miglet says, like, leave the yellow girls alone is come back to the blue bunk. We would love to have you, and includes her in that way. I think that was a really good touch to add on.
Oh, I bet Natasha was pissed because she's got to hang out with Emily now.
Miglet's like, hey, she's having a rough day. Just let her sleep right next to us.
She's just going to fall asleep at 10. She's like literally a child.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about boys.
We get to the next day. It is the final day. Day 40. Oh my gosh.
All my friends are leaving camp.
Yeah, we all gather, and Mr. Bonanza says, it's just like the first day. There are no jobs, no classes, no gold stars to give out. But actually, he pulls out 3 huge gold stars.
Ooh, and he even has Alex try to hold one.
They're really heavy, and they each are worth $50,000.
Whoa, I'd be pissed if I was a $20,000 winner.
I thought the same thing. I was like, wow, are they going to pick all new winners where I wish I would have been left?
Because I couldn't think of 3.
Pharaoh,
you could give 50,000 to. Andre deserves 20,000. He doesn't deserve that 50,000.
I agree. I would be pissed if I were Zach, being like, "Wow, I just got gypped. I just got the 20K. I wish they would have given it to like Mike or Andre, and then I could have scooped up the 50K.
One more day, yeah,
yeah." But it sounds like I don't know if you heard this the same way I did. That 2 have to go to previous Gold Star winners, and 1 has to go to somebody new.
Yeah, so spoiler for what I've looked up, but that's okay because it's the end. We got to know the answer. So, it was okay. 2 of the stars had to go to either someone who already won one or someone who had been on the town council.
Okay.
So, limited options there.
Yep.
But then the third one had to be a new person.
Yeah, which I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah, because you're not going to give Sophia 20,000 and fucking Mike 50,000. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think majority of them should go to people who already won. They're clearly the town. They carried the town on their backs this whole season. They deserve most of that money. Yeah,
and then someone like Greg only gets one because that was a fluke to begin with. But they could have also voted for themselves,
which would be weird. Since they are already all owners of gold stars, I think it would be weird to give it to themselves.
Yes, it definitely would be. If none of them
had gotten a gold star, I think they consider that would be a pretty sure. Yeah, I feel like they could have been on the short list.
But yes, I did find out that they were allowed to give it to themselves, which they all 4 boys were like, nah.
That would be
They
weird.
read the room correctly. Yeah.
They were already very much hated. They didn't need to add more to the list.
They knew. Yeah.
Well, they will be getting these gold stars during the final town hall meeting, but first they have to earn them because, let's be honest, everything runs off of reward system in this town.
So stupid.
And Mr. Bonanza says that they are going to be throwing the first annual Bonanza City Bonanza. And let me just add, this was the first and only.
I was going to say, there was never another one. Unless Meredith and I can go here and throw our own Bonanza, there's never going to be another one.
Why do I want this to be my bachelorette trip now?
We're going to Bonanza City, yeah?
Can you imagine? I actually think that'd be a hoot. If they would install like a hot tub, I'm in.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
I need like a pool or something.
They have portable saunas we could order. They like send it out to this location.
In the middle of like New Mexico.
Jesus. Yeah, send it out. Mm-hmm.
Well, in order to complete the reward, we have an hour to do some cooking, decorating, and cleaning the town.
So stupid, yeah.
There are like tasks all over the town with signs and tells them exactly what they need to do. So we get started and we first go to the kitchen and they have to make pasta and spaghetti sauce. And let me just say, this was the grossest thing I've ever seen.
The fuck was that dough? That dough was disgusting. That wasn't dough.
That was mashed potatoes.
That was soupy noodles. We saw
the fact that they just like, and then they threw the plate into the water. I was like, absolutely not.
Are they frying the noodle? That looked like oil.
Whatever it was, I am telling you, Alicia, because I made sure to check when they sit down for this meal. They did not use this food.
I sure hope not. They were manhandling these mashed potato dough.
For anybody who didn't
it.
watch the show, I highly recommend just watching this portion. It's probably in the last, like, back half of the last episode. But they're like these little, like, cannon things that they dump this, like, goopy dough in.
The longest pasta makers I've ever seen.
And there's somebody with a plate at the end. Obviously, there's holes. It's like a rice maker thingy. Holes, and they're holding a plate. And one of the guys just shoves the tube in, and it just all...
The whitest noodles I've ever seen come out of this tube, and they just chuck it.
Yeah, they just dump it into this water or oil.
Into what looks
giant part.
Yeah, this bubbling pot of oil.
And it just sinks to the bottom every time.
It was disgusting.
To be honest, the red sauce situation, that wasn't gross to me. Zach's like, oh, making this sauce is gross. I'm like, you're just chopping up some tomatoes. I don't want to eat it.
Smushing tomatoes.
But the sauce wasn't gross. The noodles
were disgusting. Yeah, the sauce was fine because they had like contraptions to mush the tomatoes. And let's be honest, it really wasn't sauce. It was just like
it was smashed
tomatoes.
Correct.
That they then had to put in little bowls and heat up because it had to be piping hot. So thank God for that microwave.
Put it into like a bucket.
To overflow. That was the weirdest part.
Alicia,
when they overflowed
Zach, I didn't fully understand this for a minute, but Zach's like, thank God we have the microwave or this would be way harder. I was like, why does this have to be hot to put it in this bucket?
It said it had to be piping hot.
This is so stupid.
It had to be piping hot tomato juice that then they threw into a plastic container.
Like one of those cheese ball containers.
It was a cheese ball jar. Yeah. It was like that kind of plastic. And then they made so much it overflowed.
It was
and
so
then
gross.
they covered that up with the top. And they were like, we're dinner served. Yeah, disgusting. I thought too, I was like, if they eat this,
yeah,
that's a joke. That's production cracking up at themselves.
We've had some pretty bad meals, but like that was just because they didn't know how to like cook real pasta noodles correctly. So I understand it. These are the grossest things I've ever seen.
This was also timed, so they didn't care.
No, this is clearly just for the reward. So
yeah,
done with that task. Now all those kids run to meet up with some other kids, and they're making tables,
building a picnic table,
to be exact. And they realize that they're really struggling because they didn't get any of the how-to books from the library. And this is when I'm like, okay, the microwave makes sense now. We actually should have always picked the logical reward after every showdown.
Instead?
I think that was the arcade.
Oh, who cares?
Agreed.
You're going to tell me Greg, who knows how to kill chickens and do plumbing and does construction on the side, he can't put together a few picnic tables?
He does. Greg says he's built a few picnic tables before. And I'm like, of course you have. Of course you have.
Yeah, he professionally probably.
Also, it was 3 pieces. They just had to nail them together.
But they got mad at Mike for trying to line up the holes. And I was like, that's half the battle with putting together furniture. You have to line up the holes.
They also should have built it upside down, basically. Yeah. And they just
they're building it right side up, which is the wrong way. I've never built a picnic table, but I'm confident I could figure it out in 3 pieces.
Yeah. Yes. But, I could have totally done this.
What do I know? Yeah.
Whether I was 13 or present day 29.
Yeah. Literally flip it over, put it together, flip it back.
Nail some nails in there. And let's be honest, nobody's sitting on these tables. We have actually professionally built tables that they will haul in when we're ready.
No, these tables can't hold anything.
Well, next we move on to the final task, which is cleaning up the town. And we have to do Alicia's favorite activity and bury all of the trash.
I can't believe that was the correct thing. Like, when they originally got the journal that was like, you have to clean up the trash, I thought the town council was like, what if we buried it? Because some idiot was like, what if we burn it? And then they're like, no, we should put the trash back into the ground. And I thought, like, that's wrong. There has to be a better solution, but these are kids. No. Then Bonanza is like, you know what you should do? We already dug the holes. All you have to do is dump it.
This didn't seem that crazy of a task, but there is a lot of trash and everybody participates. They're like scooping it into their little dolly cart things. I don't even know what to call them.
The holes also that you're putting the trash in are like 2 inches deep.
Alicia, there was more trash than that hole was big enough.
Yeah, we've made it.
Greg and Blaine had to make the hole bigger. They're doing all the legwork on the back end of this whole system. But they also realized they need to condense this trash. My favorite part of this entire episode, Greg jumps on a basket and completely wipes out. Karma, baby.
Rightfully so.
Yes. So yeah, they bury the trash. There's 2 minutes left, and DK collapses on the ground, and we find out they all have to get back to the center of town and ring a bell in order to get this reward. And DK's like, I can't go on. My knees hurt.
Oh my God, if you remember, he was the kid that got injured day one when we were walking with our...
Was he?
Yeah, he was the kid that Greg had to put on top of the luggage because he got injured.
Wow, it really is ending how it started.
Really? Full circle.
That makes me feel like production really intervened because
production tripped him?
No, that they're like you should collapse and we need a big, oh my God, are they going to finish in time?
Imagine production just tripped the kid.
It's kicking out the knees.
Sorry. Yeah, they took a baseball bat and they just...
DK is like, I cannot go on. I can't walk. And Greg and Blaine are like, we'll carry you. And they pick him up and run into town as the time is dwindling down. And
honestly, though, I know they already won their gold stars and they didn't deserve it. But Greg and Blaine should have gotten a weekly stipend to really help these kids
They
out.
are constantly put in situations that they are the only ones who can do things.
That's the thing. Is I don't want to rely on them. But they're the only ones. When I said toxic dad in one previous episode, that is literally them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Old school dad who brings home all the money while the mom is a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah, because what? Well, just the kids. We have no one else to go to.
Yes.
We're stuck in this situation where it's either we die out here or we have Greg carry us.
Yes.
That's the whole... There's no other option. I wish there was.
Yeah, that's the only option. We have to just accept Greg's bad behavior for his strength, I guess. But they win the reward. We get $150,000. Plus, it's time to party. But what would make this party better? Some special guests?
Our fucking parents.
Oh my God, the kids are screaming. These parents, my favorite thing is they're running into town.
The parents aren't running. I thought that immediately. I was like, are the parents going to run? And then I see them trying.
They're trotting a little bit. They come over a hill.
It's hard terrain out here. Listen, parents at this age, we're in their 30s to 40s.
I would say, mid-40s.
Oh my God, no.
I guess it depends what their kid is. Greg's parents are probably... late 30s, early 40s, yeah.
Yeah, but the younger kids.
Well, Mallory has an older sister, but Alex's parents are mid-30s
35 max.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. But still, I mean, I'm not even 30 and I have knee joint issues. So I'm not fucking running. Yeah.
Well, yeah, the parents are trotting in and the kids are running out of town to them. And so there's this cute little meetup. And I didn't take notes on everybody, but two things I noticed. Did you see Greg and his mom kissing on the lips?
No! Oh! I hate. Oh my God.
I rewinded it because I was like, there's no way I just made that up, because it was a quick interaction. And I was like, why do people kiss their family members on the lips? Every show we watch, Alicia, there's at least one.
We have talked about this before, and I know you align with me because there's only one right answer. Don't kiss your kid on the lips. First of all, ever, because you're giving your kid all the germs in your mouth to their mouth, which can cause health issues. But on a bigger scale, it's gross. It's gross to watch.
Definitely, if you're going to do it, definitely stop after 5 years old.
5?
I'm giving some extra ages.
If I'm at kindergarten and I see someone kiss the lips of their kid, this
guy is 15 years old.
The thing is, he's kissing other girls on the lips.
And then kissing his mom.
No. And you know what? I always thought the saying, did you kiss your mom with that mouth was a weird saying because my family, we didn't kiss.
Thought through that.
We didn't kiss. Ever. Maybe the cheek if she got lucky. But I wasn't kissing my mom with any mouth. Now I know what that was meant to, and it's gross. don't kiss your kids on the lips. It's incest. I don't care what you say. It's
1000%.
gross.
I agree.
Oh man, because it's usually, weirdly enough, I mean, it's all types, but especially when it's like opposite sex. If my dad came near me, I was like, I'd kill him. I would kill him or have him arrested.
Like, if a kiss could save my parents by kissing them on the lips, I would still have to think it through.
Yeah. CPR, I'd be like, is this gross though?
Oh my God,
is this legal?
That's my worst nightmare. I would rather a stranger kiss me on the lips.
I know. I have to full mouth blow air into my parents. No, I know.
In happier times, I did really love Laurel. She like breaks down crying in her mom's arms, and I was like, she has been Boston strong for way too long.
Can I say, I would be thrilled to see my parents.
Yeah,
but also, after like 10 minutes, you could hear me going, Mom, stop. You're so embarrassing. You would hear it.
But it's also been 40 days. Like the longest, I realized the longest I had been away from my parents was 2 weeks for camps.
2 weeks. Wow. That's
but still, I could see them on the Sunday in between each week. They could like come hang out with me for 2 hours. And they usually would. They would like take me out to lunch and then they would drop me back off. So the most really is like a week to 10 days maybe.
Yeah. I don't think I really spent more than a day or so until I was like in high school, like 14 maybe.
40 days is a long time.
I gotta give it to like, well, Mallory had her older sister, but still, like, that's rough. Mm-hmm. But like fucking Alex, dude, he's 9 and he's like,
but he's so mature.
He didn't shed a tear that we
like, remember what was that first kid's name who left?
Jimmy, dude. Jimmy. Yeah,
he could have never made it.
No, but like, he was 8.
I know.
He was baby. Yeah, I would have been fucking thrilled to see my parents. Finally, I don't have to deal with this bullshit. Oh, yes. Man.
Well, the kids do show their parents around town. They show where they slept, and they are kind of horrified. The kitchen, and they are like shook that these kids like made their own meals. And then
I still can't make my own meals.
I can, but I couldn't at 13. Like, not those types of recipes. No. We also have Nathan showing his mom how to carry water. Classic Nathan, still doing the work.
Nathan's like, Mom, the water tank is low. Fucking get your ass to work. Nobody wants to work these days, Mom. Get off your ass and work.
We need some water for the party, Mom. It's our job.
Do you want to starve? Because that's what's going to happen if you don't bring water.
Well, meanwhile, we also have some other kids showing their parents to the saloon and doing some bonanza bombs.
Oh my God. We do more Irish. The parents it was just like Coca-Cola into Coca-Cola.
It seemed like more of a syrup, though, as the shot. So it was just like a super sugary Irish
simple syrup, and you throw it into Coke, and then you just chug. Yeah, some parent... I know it's a parent, but I wanted it to be like a cool uncle or something, takes it and does the bomb. And then it's like, that's crazy. And I was like, why are we indulging that? First of all.
Actually, I kind of wish a parent raced a child and the child would have done better than the parent.
Oh, that would have been dope. Yeah. Been like, I've been practicing all 40 days. This is all I did.
Yeah, this is all I did every night, Mom and Dad.
Yeah, the kids that like I had hoped too that they would like pour out some shots and then they'd sip on them like they used to. Like, it's good to be reunited, you guys. Take a sip.
My God. We also see a mom have to use the outhouse, and she is just hating her life.
Minion number 2.
Little blondies.
Yeah, she's like, don't let anyone in, and this little minion covers it, and she's like, a city slicker. She really had to go.
Died.
Hey, bitch, I'm not fucking... If I have to choose, it's not the outhouse.
No.
Of course I'm a city slicker.
I would have held it as long as possible.
I would have been like, hey, production, let me in your bathrooms.
Yeah, seriously. Well, it is time for lunch, and Taylor rings the bell for lunch, and everybody gathers. Mm-hmm. A bunch of the kids are just like introducing themselves to their parents, and we're just really mix and matching. It's cute. But then Mr. Bonanza comes up and he tells everybody all the kids to gather their things and come to the town hall. So.
And parents.
It's time for our last
We set up
meeting.
extra wood benches for you. Come on in.
Why didn't we see the kids build those?
There wasn't enough time. They barely made it as it is.
Seriously.
Those soupy noodles that they never served took a lot.
Fuck those.
Could you imagine if those parents had eaten
I kind of wish that they did.
Yeah, we made this, Mom.
And they're like, yum, num, num, num. Oh. They do like as if it's plastic food and you just go, num, 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 but you don't eat anything.
Yeah, they're just moving it. We see one parent like dump it on the ground and cover it with sand and be like, it was so good. I ate it all.
So good, honey. I'm so proud of you.
Done.
This unseasoned tomato sauce and that's like lukewarm now. And these mushy ass noodles.
It was piping hot when you put it in the Cheetos container.
Well, it is time for the town hall. And we kind of talk about how, like, who has, we got to give out these 3 gold stars. And Mr. Bonanza tells the town council to go for a walk. And Mr. Bonanza tells them that they need to pick people who really represent Bonanza City, which that's tricky because there's just so
what is this place? What's the representation we're going for?
I don't know.
Okay, Mr. Bonanza.
But the town council talks, and they really want to pick people who made the town better as a whole. And so they discuss Sophia, Mike, Migle, Anjay, Morgan, Laurel, Markel. They just kind of go through a range of people. And as they're talking about those people, we get clips of those people standing up in the town hall and talking about their experience and just different
Sophia goes, I'm really sorry if I bossed you around.
Respectable Sophia.
I was just trying to make things better.
She's like, hey, now that this experiment is over, I won't be such a bitch because I don't have to be.
She was like, I'm not really that sorry.
No, but I just need to save face and just let you know.
But also, even if she never apologized for that, respect, girl. Yeah.
Our sheriff, my sheriff, she deserves all my respect.
Oh, sheriff, my sheriff? You're law and order, baby. You do whatever you want. We finally got
you 3 days ago. Do not apologize for any of your behavior.
You held this town together with your rules.
You cooked everything morning and nights. You were on the ball. You were the chef and the sheriff.
Shut down that arcade single-handedly. Hell yeah.
Absolutely. So the town council comes back, and the first mega gold star goes to Sophia. She says that this has been the best and worst experience of her life.
Rightfully so to Sophia. 10 out of 10 on that one.
I would be so excited to get to a bed.
My dude Michael was like, y'all.
Green forever.
We only have one sheriff.
That's the thing. Sophia deserves, she is deserving of a double star action.
There was a whole day she was in charge by herself.
I forgot about that.
How many town council members does it take to run this city? What if it's Sophia?
Sophia was so efficient, so respectful. Mm-hmm. You are so right. You are so right. Not only is she in the mornings the chef, at afternoons the sheriff, she ran this whole goddamn town for 3 days alone.
She's also at night the town council. Yeah, she's all of it.
She's everything. So we give out the second mega gold star, and it goes to Morgan, which I was kind of shocked about. I kind of thought maybe some other people would have gotten it over her.
Morgan was a friend to all. Who else did you think would get it? Because this one has to go to a previous member or a town council.
I was thinking Laurel.
No,
it doesn't do. I guess Sophia and Laurel are kind of similar vibes, but they do say Morgan that they picked her because she really brought everybody together. Morgan says she feels like she slacked off with work, but it wasn't about work on this pick, which I guess makes sense.
Laurel was also a little younger, and she did serve on town council, which I think
twice.
But that made you a little bit unfavorable because you made bad decisions for the town.
Okay,
Morgan never did. She was a friend.
She was one of those leaders who were not on town council.
And I think Laurel was so remember when she didn't trade anyone from Green?
Yeah,
Greg I know, Greg hated her. So I do think Laurel did things that weren't good for the town in that respect. And I think they were going to give it to older kids no matter what.
Definitely. But hey, 2 from Green with the double gold, the mega gold stars.
The best. Green for money. Forget your Irish heritage, Laurel. Green for fucking greens.
What a good point. Yeah. Well, we have that third Mega Gold Star to give out. And as we just said, that Morgan and Sophia were already previous winners. So this one has to go to somebody new. And it goes to Migle.
This was dumb.
You didn't like this?
90% of the show, Migle was laying in bed with Natasha and not working.
And then she gets the
biggest prize. Doesn't matter.
Wait, who hasn't gotten one deserves it?
I think Pharaoh should have gotten one. Remember him? He was working his ass off and he had bills to pay at home.
Good point. I did forget about Pharaoh because I was thinking because again, it could be town council or previous Gold Star winners. And I don't think Anjay and Mike deserve it as much. Taylor definitely not from Old Town Councils.
You could have even maybe if you wanted to give it to someone smart, Jared would have been a good pick.
Jared would have been a good one.
Yeah, there were just fine. Migle in the end was fine. She broke up a fight and stuff, but
She did lead Blue to a really good success in the end.
What about Markel?
Markel, that's true.
Hard worker. Yeah, I just think they were better. There weren't a lot of options, but I think there were better options.
Yeah.
My gosh, even Olivia was a better option.
I wouldn't have loved Olivia.
I think she's better than Migle.
I think Migle did better than Olivia in the end.
I think Olivia cared about this town. I don't think Migle did until she was
To me, Olivia's the bitchy girl in the corner who thinks she's too cool to be in the cool kids, but she's also mean.
She's only mean to fucking Anjay, but she wanted to run for town council, which shows she cared about whatever was happening. She was buying into it.
Yeah, but we didn't see her do anything after she tried to be on town council.
Oh my God, we barely saw Migle at the beginning.
I agree. I'm just saying we did see the rise of Migle by the end. She directed the whole Blue team in their final showdown when the town council was MIA.
Yeah.
She broke up a fight. She did start working.
So then, in retrospect, I won't work until the final days and then I'll get noticed.
Yeah. Well,
that's what happened.
Greg only started working whenever he found out about the Gold Stars and then he became a shitty kid and then became a terror on town council.
Yeah, but he fucking always had to do the hard work.
Always had to
just talked about it, right?
Tip over an outhouse or carry a kid to the end. Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked Pharaoh, and I think since we saw him,
Pharaoh's
I've been rooting
a good pick.
For him.
You're right.
And I wish he could have gotten it,
Yeah.
I wish. I hope he ended up paying the bills because
with whatever money he got paid just to be on the show.
Yeah.
Some of the parents stand up and make some comments, Mike's mom thanks all of them, and she says that this gives her so much hope for the future. And I was like,
oh my God.
One show, 40 kids? Really?
Wait till you see the way it's edited, girly. Wow.
Wait till you see all the kids cursing at each other and fighting.
Wait till you see them catcalling in the middle of the town square.
Wait till you see the meltdowns over the religious services.
No, literally. Remember the people that hate the Jews? Yeah, come on.
Yes. So much bad to see.
And fucking Morgan's dad is like, Greg, I've had more mature conversations, or I've had worse conversations with adults.
Pissed me off. Greg coming off as mature and so great to these parents. I was like, that's not who this man was to all these kids. Absolutely not.
All the kids were sitting there. Sophia's like, I can't wait to get away from this fucking loser.
They're like, I can't wait to tell my parents what actually happened in these last 40 days.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of ends very abruptly. Mr. Bonanza says it's time to head outside, grab their bags, and say goodbye for the final time.
Hell yeah.
And they just, literally in a minute, the show ends. They just grab their stuff. They are hugging. And we get a lot of them cut clips and they're like, I'm hopeful for the future. And we learned a lot to build up. And then they all it's a bunch of clips of them saying Kid Nation.
Kid Nation rules. Ends. Oh, man. This show was so good. However, we do need to discuss, Meredith.
Yeah.
Do we think this show could have had a second season? And do we think it deserves a second season? Because two very different.
despite the child abuse that this kind of is, I think it was a fascinating show to watch. Yeah. So from just a viewer's perspective, I kind of want a second season.
Yeah.
However, the storyline is kind of hard to combine a season 1 and a season 2 because we just burned the job board and the journal. Plus, we already learned all this stuff. Like, what would season 2 do?
I think legally you can't have a season 2. I think I could watch this. You could make it into something, be like, oh, last season, they did it. There were some ups and downs. Let's like restructure it to see like what worked and what didn't and go from there.
Like you'd have to have a different type of civilization. Couldn't it be a Western town?
Yeah. It's almost like Kid Big Brother, where it's at its core a social experiment.
Yeah.
But yeah, you put them in suburbia.
Can you imagine if they had, well, I don't know, but
throw them to the Native Americans in their teepees.
A modern version where we have surveillance footage. That's something where I feel like we could have caught more on camera with some surveillance type footage.
It would have been really different. Yeah. Because I think the cameras, weird enough, these kids are on their best behaviors in front of the cameras.
Yeah. I kind of want, like, what if they did one in 2027 as like a 20-year anniversary season? Like they just truly redo it all.
You know what they should do? They should get all the kids back and throw them in the Big Brother house and go, this is our reunion. You got 40 kids, 40 adults now. Figure it out.
That would be really interesting because it's not like they voted kids off in Kid Nation. So voting kids off would be fascinating.
You could like literally do it the same. It doesn't even have to be Big Brother. Throw them in a house together and be like, do it again. But as adults. Because that would be hilarious.
I want to see Greg yell at these kids again and these kids actually fight back. Because
I want to see one of the little kids who got all fucking jacked and looks at Greg and goes, nah.
Yeah. It's like 5 years is not a big difference now, bitch.
Yeah, try again.
Go kiss your mom on the lips again.
I'm not going to listen to a bitch that kisses his mom on the lips.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so could it? Maybe.
Do
I want it? Yeah, I do.
Absolutely.
I don't care about the child abuse. I don't like kids that much.
No. Give me more child abuse, please.
Please and thanks.
Serve it up on a pretty platter.
Oh, Meredith. Tens of hours of my life have gone to looking up this show. Okay. I kid you not. Last night alone, I was on a deep dive for 3 hours.
Love it.
So I want to start on our filming location.
Okay.
So we talked a lot of shit about Bonanza City because it's just a Western set town, you know?
Yes.
It's actually called Bonanza Creek Movie Ranch. So they didn't think of the name Bonanza.
His name isn't Jonathan Bonanza?
Well, the writers, I thought, pulled it out of their ass. No, this place is called the Bonanza Creek Movie Ranch. And it's a privately owned town built upon the ruins of Bonanza City, New Mexico. This was a real fucking place.
Wait, I actually respect these producers a little more for having a real story or a story inspired by true events.
Yeah, this was a real fucking town called Bonanza City in New Mexico.
Wow.
And it's only located 13 miles from Santa Fe.
That's terrifying. That's actually even more terrifying. That they were so close to civilization. I don't know why, but them just being in the middle of nowhere made me feel way better about it.
No, they're so close. That's why they could get everything they needed.
Oh, that makes sense. Why their parents could just run right into town.
Yeah. Parents were only 13 miles away in Santa Fe. So, just some history. Bonanza City was founded in 1880 as a mining town following...
Wait, that was what the journal said.
No, I talked so much shit, but it was real. So it was following the discovery of gold and silver.
Mm-hmm. The gold rush, baby.
The gold rush, they went west. We learned this. This was not only weirdly accurate and educational, it was entertaining. Okay, so it was abandoned sometime in like the early 1900s.
Okay.
So, and then that's when it was turned into like Bonanza Creek Movie Ranch. So originally this land belonged to, you guessed it, the Mexicans. But of course, in the Mexican-American War, the Americans stole it.
Yep.
or won it, whichever side you're on. But then it, of course, became this mining town. The thing is, though this town had a church and a store and a post office, a hotel, and had smelter. Had smelter, the melting of metals. Mm-hmm. It lacked a lot of important amenities, such as a barber shop or like a place to get your shoes shined or fixed. Okay. So it was lacking a lot of stuff. And so between 1880 and 1883, it had 2,000 people. But then by 1884, it had dropped down to 200 people because people started to fucking abandon after they lost the post office.
That makes sense. That if you have no contact to the outside world, we're cut off here.
And then by the early 1900s. I'm shocked
they just didn't open, a shoe shining store. Like 2,000 people, that's a decent amount of people to like.
Yeah, but most people are mining. Most people are mining and women didn't work.
Yep, that's a good point.
The good old days, if you will.
That's difficult when everybody, like one town relies on one type of business.
Yep.
Okay.
And smeltering got relocated to Albuquerque, so really no point to be here. Definitely. So then, completely abandoned by like the early 1900s. So then it became a filming location. Some major hits.
Wait. So were those buildings real, or did they build those for the filming location?
I think they were rebuilt.
Okay.
Based off of because it said it's built upon the ruins of this city.
Okay. Yeah, because it probably all like collapsed and deteriorated.
And if it's a filming location, you got to keep it up a little bit. Probably add some amenities, even though those aren't going to be in your movie. Big stuff. But some big names. I didn't know all these movies, but The Man from Laramie filmed here.
That sounds it jogs something in my brain, but I've never seen it.
As well as Silverado, which I've heard of.
That just makes me think of. Have you seen on social media the Chevrolet dealership, and they have like an office?
The Silverado. Maybe that's what I know that from. Because I don't know the movie. I thought I just heard of it.
It makes me think of a truck.
The Legend of Lone Ranger, or The Legend of the Lone Ranger, A Million Ways to Die in the West, and then most recently, the movie Rust, which you might not know at home what the movie Rust is. But that's
lying to me.
That's the movie that Alec Baldwin shot a prop gun that killed one and injured another, and then he went on trial for it. For murder, basically, which he wasn't.
He wasn't convicted. It was dropped.
He wasn't convicted.
Honestly, it was not his fault. It was the prop people.
Either way, Alec Baldwin looks terrible now because technically,
somebody died on the set of Kid Nation.
Yeah.
20 years later,
production has restarted on this movie, but they are not filming at this location. Bad omen, if you will.
It is now haunted. We cannot send more kids there.
No,
we can't restart this show now. This
hilarious,
really
right? I read that and went, oh my God. Okay.
When you started talking about movies, my wheels started turning, and I wondered if you were going to say that. But the minute you said Rust, I was like, holy fuck, this set.
The best moment. Clip that moment. That's hilarious. So, there have been a few interviews with the kids of Kid Nation. I watched one that that kid Jimmy did.
Yeah, I saw that on YouTube.
Was it terrible to watch?
Was it? Also, why? Jimmy's not going to be the most interesting. He was there for 3 days?
No, it was the structure just wasn't like it didn't make sense. We were kind of jumping everywhere. So I didn't want to watch that. And then I tried to watch one with Greg, and that one also kind of was terrible. So I just went to the internet, obviously. Yeah. Okay, so in the Jimmy interview, I found out, because I did watch that one, he was 8 when the show filmed, and he didn't know he was supposed to save his money, so he spent it all immediately. So the producers would give him extra money.
Okay, that's nice.
To have. So extra buffalo nickels. And
get a guy on the inside.
Production would usually feed them a meal a day.
Okay, I kind of assumed they had to.
Or sneak them food,
Yeah. Because in my mind, I'm Love Island shuts down and they all eat a meal and just simmer down for a minute. So why wouldn't these kids?
Yeah.
there's no way they could cook every meal for themselves. So it seems like lunch was the meal that they ate. Yeah. Sometimes they had dinner together. We didn't always
see dinner. It was always breakfast they for sure had to make.
Absolutely. Which, and I don't that think makes more sense because if you know, like, let's say like the meal's coming at lunch, breakfast, I'm okay being hungry for like 2 hours, like go play in the arcade if we're all going to be served lunch by someone else.
Yeah. I've read some other stuff too, which we'll get to, where like they didn't really serve a lunch. They would just like sneak you food if you like wanted some, if you were like liked by the production team. Jimmy obviously was only there for 3 days, so I'm sure he got a lunch when they were figuring out cooking, and I think from there, maybe not. But he also said that because they are in like, though 13 miles from Santa Fe, they are kind of in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
He said there was a wall of security, people who both got like worked and volunteers that surrounded the town to make sure that no weird people came in, but also no animals came in.
I'm kind of shocked they didn't just like put up a giant fence.
Well, that would hurt filming. I don't know. But yeah, they had people like watching.
I mean, I guess it was so remote that like we often saw the distance that if we saw a fence, that would be weird.
Yeah. So like there were people there though. So then I read something about Greg he was terrible. Everything I found online says like he was the worst. Oh, he peed in a few kids' canteens. And then they drank them like because they didn't know.
That is so horrible. This isn't just like him kind of being a bully and like an emotional disaster because, you know, he's at the age of just pure chaos. Yeah. That is so mean.
Yeah, Greg's the worst. So then I went online to see if there were any, because this is a crazy show. I just wanted to see if there were any like lawsuits by chance.
Oh my God.
So no, because I found out on the Reddit Ask Me Anything we'll get to, that you had to basically waive away all your rights to sue for sure.
Absolutely.
But there was a petition to never have this show again due to claims of child exploitation and abuse, obviously. But so we saw Divad burn herself, and then on camera, I guess, like the cameras weren't filming when she burned herself, but then they got her on camera being like, it's fine, it's just a little burn. So then legally they had that tape that she said that.
Oh my God.
And then there were also
she chose to like fry up those potatoes to sell, so like the situation was a little different.
Not us. Too. But there were also multiple kids who, it says multiple kids, but then on the Reddit Ask Me Anything, just one kid. So I don't know. But apparently multiple kids drank bleach.
What? Where the fuck did they get bleach?
Yeah, so it was for cleaning. DK was actually one of them. And on the Reddit
I cannot believe this.
On the Reddit Ask Me Anything, because it's Michael. Michael didn't ask me anything. Someone asked about that, and he said, like, it was totally DK's fault because, like, why are you drinking a bottle that says bleach? Like, no.
Oh, it was, like, obvious?
But, no, in the thing I found online, like, about the lawsuit, it was either mislabeled or not labeled, but all the kids that drank the bleach had to, like, required medical attention. Like, I guess they just found this, like, bleach, but it wasn't labeled and it smelled citrusy in the saloon, so they just drank it.
Oh, my fucking God.
Which, like, you probably shouldn't drink anything, but if a little kid did it, sure. But if you're 14, why are you just drinking anything that comes your way?
Well, if it's in the saloon, you, like, think it's, like, soda and stuff. Yeah. I can see how, because it was in the saloon. If you found it in any other area, I don't think you would be thinking, drink this as much.
They did require medical attention, so.
Wow.
So anyway, as I said, Michael did a Reddit Ask Me Anything, and he went into details.
Okay.
I did the math. It was 11 years ago. So Michael, I think, would have been about 20, like 19, 20-ish.
Oh, the Ask Me Anything was 20 years ago. Okay.
No, it was 11 years ago. He would have been 20.
He would have been 20. Okay.
So a few years after he was on. Anyway. Michael says, and this is so interesting. So you get the gold star on the show. It's worth $20,000.
Yeah.
You had the option to either keep the gold star, which was gold worth $20,000, or a big check. Michael said he chose the big check because him and his parents were like, how would we cash this much gold?
Yeah, that would be a logistics nightmare. But I wonder, I wonder how taxes work on gold.
I don't know, but someone did the calculation and said if it was like, if you had kept the gold up for like, I don't know, Michael was 14 on the show, so like the 6 years.
It did have a big spike there.
It would have been worth like 38,000 or something. Yeah. Like not a ton, but like
no. But hey, I wonder if Alex did. Alex said he wanted to keep the gold star. So
you know, yeah. So Michael said you did audition for the show and then you would get invited to participate in like a closed audition. So what happened with him was some of the producers contacted this Seattle music camp that he attended, and they were looking for a, quote, long-haired hippie kid from the Pacific Northwest. So the music camp gave them Michael, and Michael said throughout the whole audition process, he basically would tell the producers, like, I don't care if you pick me. I don't want, like, there's no part of me that's like dying to be on the show. Yeah. But the producers liked that attitude of like this chill Pacific Northwest kid. So he got cast, but Michael said he almost didn't go because he had tickets to Coachella at 14 that year.
Holy shit. I bet he's glad he did. Now he has $20K he could have bought next year's tickets.
He was probably like, Coachella would have been lit.
I wonder who was playing back then.
Yeah. So on the way to, you know how they were bussed in from Santa Fe, I assume? Yeah. You weren't allowed to talk on the bus ride there. So they couldn't figure out what was going on.
That makes sense. I mean, a lot of shows like require stuff like that because they want to get all of your interactions, and a bus is a really hard system.
Yeah. Michael says they were never in danger of going hungry. He says it didn't look like it, but the kids actually had their shit together as far as like making food. Mm-hmm. And he says there was so much prepackaged food. Like Michael said he like ate oatmeal every morning. And like there was so much jerky, like you were never gonna go hungry. Yeah.
How good was it? Is I think always their problem.
But they would also bum food off the crew, is what he said. So he said like the crew members would drop food off in their sleeping bags.
Wait, that's so funny.
And he said one of the crew members dropped her iPod off for Michael so he could listen to the new Shins album.
I'm dying. He's such a music kid.
He's so cool. It was confirmed that no adults helped clean those dishes. We saw is what we saw.
I would have never helped if I was a crew member. I would absolutely give you food, maybe some music. I would definitely not clean this town up.
No.
Because you need to create conflict too. Like food conflict is not interesting. That's just sad.
Yeah, but someone asked like, did no one just clean it for real once to make sure you guys didn't get sick? And Michael was like, no, that was all us.
Yeah, but Disgusting. They were often clean, like having raw chicken, you know? They like did that maybe 3 times throughout the experience. So nothing's going to be so gross. It's just going to be like not appetizing rather than like gross chicken bacteria or whatever.
Yeah, but it's sitting outside with like the fly. I don't know. But it was confirmed. There were also mobile showers you were allowed in if you're like the challenge or showdown had you get really dirty. So after the bean challenge, they were allowed to shower.
Okay, because I always looked at their hair after those competitions because that's a dead giveaway. Their clothes, obviously, they can clean. That makes sense. So I would say they probably showered once every like 6 days because it seemed like kind of every other one would be a little bit messier.
Yeah. They had like one where they were like chucking tomatoes or whatever they had to catch. I don't remember. But yeah, if they were dirty, they got mobile showers. He did confirm, I am so many people ask this. I am not alone. There were crushes and there were hookups.
No, I'm so happy about that because like, I mean, that's what I would think about it because you said we'd be 13.
Immediately, I was like, I'm 14-year-old girl. I have crushes.
That's when I had my first kiss basically is like 8th grade.
So he didn't tell us
real kiss.
Yeah, for sure. He didn't tell us who because he said he like felt awkward talking about like those sex lives of 14-year-olds now that he's 18. He did though say, because someone on the Reddit forum was like, Don't tell me who, but I must know because my friends and I had a bet on it. Did Greg and Natasha hook up? Like they were just like yes or no me on that.
Yeah.
And Michael said they did not hook up, but Natasha did hook up with someone else. So then I went and I looked up the entire cast ages. So Natasha was like, I think 13 on the show. And hook up probably means like
the kiss
out. And maybe you felt her boob over her shirt.
Yes. Nobody's banging on this show. They're way too young.
No. But I did the math. So she was 13. So I did 12 to 14-year-olds.
Yeah.
Because Greg was the only 15-year-old. So it would have been Michael, DK, Blaine, Hunter, or this kid Eric we saw very little of.
Dude, I'm going Blaine.
I also think Blaine. I think Michael was too checked out. I don't think DK would do it.
DK was like way too passionate about town things. I don't think he was as focused on the hookup culture.
Who's Eric? And Hunter was busy working.
Hunter never stopped working a minute in it. He would be appalled if that ever made it on camera and his family had to watch that.
So I think Blaine and Natasha hooked up. But what do I know?
I bet there was a lot of downtime at night.
Mm-hmm. At night.
And this was 2007. Again, we weren't doing surveillance and they weren't going to hunt you down with like lights and cameras on every kid.
And Blaine and Natasha were both on Blue Team for a while.
They're 40 days too? Like,
yeah. We got to get a little kissing.
Oh my god.
But yeah, he says there were crushes and there were hookups.
Wait, I need so much more on that.
I know. I couldn't find anything, which like respectfully, they're kids. You don't have to.
No, I want to know.
But I wish.
They're adults now. Again, it's the same way we spoke about these kids. I don't care because they were our age.
They were my age. What were you doing? Yeah.
It's not weird to me.
So, Michael says they were definitely not alone out there. There were plenty of adults, 12 camera crews. Each crew had about 4 people.
Damn.
Like he said, basically 200 people total, including production and catering. But he says all the adults offered very little guidance for anything.
I get that.
The crew slept 3 miles away. And because 3 miles we totally would have saw on the camera, the crew slept 3 miles towards Santa Fe because certain angles we didn't see because you could see the lights of Santa Fe at night. So they like cut those out.
We did always see like, you know how the main strip of town and you would go out towards that like water tower and where Jared and like Alex explored that one day, we would always see out that way.
Yeah, but you never saw towards town.
No. Only tight shots.
Yeah. They would truck in rewards for every challenge and then truck them out after because Santa Fe's 13 miles away. They loved Jonathan, and that's the only reason they didn't really revolt. Although they said when Jonathan was during a challenge or whatever, he'd be like, "The green team only has 2 flags." Everyone it was hard to not to be like, "Fuck you, Jonathan! Like get lost."
I'm dying.
Like a Jeff Probst kind of thing.
Jonathan's keeping us alive. Well, he's like the only adult who would really engage with them. Like Jonathan would ask them questions about how it's going. He may not have given them all this information, but he was the only sounding board they really had, it seems.
Yeah, they liked him. Michael says he hated Greg, said Greg was the worst. But he did like Blaine. He said Blaine was good people. He said Taylor was worse off camera than she was on camera. No. She said, quote, "Fat people should belong in zoos."
Taylor.
And then he said, because someone asked specifically about Jared, and he said Jared was hilarious, but he used to start brawls. He would just whack kids in the face.
I just imagine him in his little trench coat, with a cane.
Yeah, some whacking kids. So Michael had some insight on the last star, the 3 stars that they gave at the end. So like I said, CBS gave rules for what the stars had to be. He really hated giving the gold star to Migle as well. He actually voted for the 3 stars to go to Pharaoh, Sophia, and Anjay. Oh. But Greg, Blaine, and DK all pushed for Migle. So that's how Migle won. Michael didn't give her the vote.
Wait, Greg, Blaine, and DK?
all voted
Do you
for
think
me,
one of those
Clay.
boys hooked up with me, Clay?
Probably Greg. Two besties, yeah.
It seems I mean, those are the three that were catcalling in the middle of town.
Yeah. So Michael at the time was still pretty close to Sophia. They would see each other sporadically. He, during the show, grew really close to Sophia, and together they just amplified each other's sarcasm and general bitterness.
Love.
Like, they would just mock the show, which we saw Sophia do.
Yeah.
And I think Michael was like the background of like, just fucking do it. Sophia and Michael actually tried to succeed and do their own town to see if it could survive, and production told them they couldn't do it. And then they also tried to get the green team to abandon the town, but production also put a stop to that.
Wait, I'm dying.
Yeah.
What's then funny Michael, is without Sophia's like I'm gonna call it chaos, just her just wanting to revolt in her little ways. Yeah. I don't think this show would have been as interesting. Like, it got boring. I don't need to see them cooking every day.
Yeah, Sophia was fun. Like, she was a good character. Can you imagine if they let her and Michael abandon the town?
I think that would have been funny to see it, and then like production needs to talk them off the ledge and force one person to be like, we can't, but that would have been an interesting storyline.
Yeah, but production said no. I think they were both just like, well, we'll start our own town. And the production was like,
that's hard to manage them because like you got to keep them safe. And so what are we supposed to do? Get the teepees from the Pueblo people and like
Native Americans.
Yeah. And like be like, hey, can we actually borrow these? Some of our kids want to start their own town.
Mm-hmm. So Michael did at the end talk about like what it was like having cameras on them and like the actual like filming of it. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be a little long, but I think it's really important to read.
Yeah.
So he says, the show was billed as a social experiment, as though it was engineered to produce meaningful insight into society and children. But I will tell you right now, there is nothing that disrupts natural behavior more than putting a camera in front of someone. The presence of a camera alone, and that in all likelihood, the cast member volunteered for the show specifically for the opportunity to be on camera, affects everyone's portrayal of themselves. It's like if you chose a subject for a documentary by asking for volunteers that specifically wanted a chance to be filmed and have everyone judge their personality strictly by the footage. Ultimately, reality shows are about characters, and people engineer their own character to look like what they want people to think they are.
Yeah.
He then goes on to say, if you look at the cast, they obviously cast people to fill roles. They went cherry picking to specific states for specific reality show cliches. You have Greg, the asshole farm boy from Nevada, Alex, the smart Asian, Sophia, overeducated, charming, neurotic, me, kid with long hair that likes to say hippie-ish things from Seattle. I guess what I'm trying to say is that people that cast these shows and the cast members themselves are exploiting specific imagery and archetypes. In this manner, I think that reality TV says an enormous amount about what we want to look like and how we want other people to act for our entertainment. But it isn't a very accurate portrayal of real life in any sense. It's kind of like the abstract ideas of materialism into a concrete narrative. Anyway, that's my rant about reality TV. Closing note, most of it blows, but I'm down with Project Runway. Tim Gunn is awesome.
Stop.
I'm not kidding. Okay. Straight from the Reddit.
I do think that we have come a long way with reality TV and casting. Mm-hmm. So that is something really cool to reflect on. Many years, like 17 years since the show filmed and 11 years since he made these comments that I think we are starting to kind of turn a corner on that.
I think now we're also well aware that reality TV like isn't always accurate or real, and people are on their best behavior with cameras, which is hard to believe because people suck on camera too. But what he was getting at was someone was like, were all these people the same as they were in real life? And he was like, to an extent, yes, but to another extent, no, because you see a camera, especially if you're a kid, you see a camera in your face.
Yeah.
And cameras now everywhere. Back then, if there was a camera, I was posing, performing.
These weren't surveillance ones. Like, I think we get a lot of natural moments from the Summer House types and the Big Brother types because Big Brother, I guess, yes and no. That is a whole other beast. But you get more surveillance footage, so you sometimes can let your guard down because the camera isn't directly in your face like it was for this show.
And I think it's different for adults because, like, whether you're quote a good person or a shitty person, you have a camera in your face and you have your own morals and thoughts because you're an adult, so you act how you act. Kids, we don't have that yet when we're figuring ourselves out. And kids nowadays, I think if you picked 40 kids from like what's the generation happening? Yeah, Gen Alpha. It would be so different because they are on camera. They see kids on TV.
That would be so interesting. Well,
they know what's happening.
Their lives are much more documented than like ours were in this generation.
Yeah, so like
our
these
generation
kids
like was.
Yeah, these kids get a camera in their face and they're hyper aware of it because it wasn't normal. Like I always knew when my mom had her camcorder. I was like, there it is. I'm well aware I'm on TV. So I think like, yeah, it would be really interesting to see like Gen Alpha now on camera.
Wow.
I don't think I'd want to. I think I have such a low bar for people these days.
I agree.
But yeah,
this could not work in modern day.
But thank you so much, Michael, for all the information. He went in and answered every single question. Shout out to the people that offered to buy him beer that live in the same area as him. Even though I think he was 20 when this happened, but what do I know? I could have done my math wrong, but yeah, what a show. What a 10 out of 10.
I'm so happy we did this finally.
Me too. Do all the things. Obviously, we have tons of content out. We're going to keep putting out content, so keep following us. And if you have a show you want us to watch that only has one season, let us know because we are happy to watch it.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining as always. Bye.